Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the Scrum Framework in a short version. Understanding the Scrum Framework is fundamental to becoming agile. When we talk about development, it starts from an idea that you can see over here on the left top. This role called product owner is responsible for creating a product backlog based on the ideas, feedbacks, requirements, suggestions, etc., collated from customers or stakeholders. For the execution or the development to start, the team, which is a cross-functional team, holds an event called sprint planning. Now, in order to understand the sprint planning better, we need to understand what is a sprint, which is depicted here. A sprint is a time box duration chosen between 1 to 4 weeks for which the team executes its development activities. Let's say the team has decided to choose a duration of 2 weeks as the length of the sprint. Now, coming back to the sprint planning, the output of the sprint planning here is what we call a sprint backlog, which is the list of items taken from product backlog that the team can reasonably finish in a sprint, which is 2 weeks chosen. More on sprint planning later. Now, the goal of sprint is to produce a potentially shippable increment or a potentially releasable increment. This increment is expected to be production ready. It is not just design complete, not just coding complete, not just QA complete. It is complete in all sense to be put in production if required. A lot of organizations and teams have this confusion or difficulty understanding this fundamental concept. So I'll repeat. This increment at the end of the sprint is expected to be production ready. More on this in the context of definition of done later. Now, there are a couple of events that are due at the end of the sprint. The first one is the sprint review, where the team demonstrates this produced increment. All the stakeholders, customers, sponsors, product owners, they're all invited to this event. And they get an opportunity to see a living, breathing work in real time. At this time, the stakeholders may also provide valuable feedback to the team and the product owner. Another event takes place at the end of the sprint is a retrospective, where the team simply discusses how they can improve in the next sprint cycle. We'll talk about both these events later on. Now, once you finish the retrospective, the team is ready to do the sprint planning and the cycle repeats. Now, there are a few things that we haven't really talked about here. Tasks. There are some teams that feel comfortable breaking down these sprint backlog items into tasks. Could be for making themselves more organized or doing a better judgment on the allocation. Another thing here is a daily scrum that happens during the sprint. Every day, the team huddles to make sure that they stay focused on the sprint goal, which is finishing the sprint backlog that they have committed. There's also this activity called backlog refinement. If you think realistically, there may be discoveries, situations, and revelations during the sprint that may warrant an update to the product backlog over here. To ensure that appropriate adjustments are made to the product backlog, there's this activity of backlog refinement. Scrum Guide is silent on when and how this should be done. And finally, we have this role of Scrum Master in a servant leadership role, who is expected to keep this whole machinery working well. So there you have it. That's the Scrum Framework in short. Thank you very much.